Welcome back to my channel. So I'm just here to bring you my latest kits. So there's 2 of these available at the moment in my Etsy shop. So I'll do them one at a time. We'll start with this one. So obviously they're kits for junk journals. This one here, it's got a little tiny bulldog clip holding on this fabric ruffle. This is some old vintage curtains, and it's been very tightly ruffled when I sewed this one on the sewing machine. I can't really explain how sometimes I get them really tight and sometimes I don't. You know, maybe it's kind of how fast I'm sewing, I'm not really sure, but this one's quite tightly ruffled. And obviously you could use this in your pages, and what you do is just snip it where you want to use it and glue it on. I tend to hot glue my ruffles on, and I just aim to kind of have the hot glue running kind of roughly where the stitched part of the ruffle is, but that's, you know, not essential. But just to kind of warn you that once you have cut it, it would obviously be prone to kind of unravelling. I've never had that happen, but I just do want to kind of mention that, you know, that you couldn't probably just chuck it in with things that you were rummaging through regularly, because obviously it would become, you know, unravelled. But obviously if you kind of kept it pinned up on a kind of board or something like that, it would be absolutely fine. So that's that. Then you've got a cute little tiny fabric bag. It's just from an old skirt of mine, and literally, I mean, I'm not a seamstress by any stretch of the imagination, so it's, you know, probably very poorly made, but I thought it was kind of cute. And that's just holding some smaller items. So you've got there a couple of rosettes, really like those, and then you've got a little tile here. Says the word happy, and then you've got kind of just items. These are printable items of mine that I just really like using kind of in my journals, which I just thought, you know, they're really nice to kind of share with you guys. I know not everybody has a printer, and, you know, as just part of the kit, I just thought they're nice to include because they're really great for kind of layering and collaging and things like that. So that's those. And then there's also a chipboard tile, which it's just literally made on chipboard with some scrapbook paper that's been coffee dyed and distress inked there. So again, I quite like using these as tabs for tags and things. This is quite a large one, and you could just kind of glue it halfway and kind of have it, you know, as a tab, like for a tag like that. So that's that one. Oh, let me just move those to one side rather than fiddle around too much. And then this particular kit, this is a book page. It's like a book page pocket really, but it's a book page bag or sack, I suppose you call it. And I've just done some decorative details with some stamps and some images from a vintage book with some flowers, layered those up. One of my little printables here. I've got some sewing pattern paper ruffle down the side. One of those Tim Holtz tattered flowers, I think he calls them. So that's what's here. It's been layered up kind of, you know, and it's just been glued on. So you could probably, if you wanted to use that in your projects, you could probably kind of either pull it off or cut around it. You know, if you cut this kind of flap off, you could cut around that flower to kind of place onto your books. And then on the rear is, again, more stamping, a couple of my printables layered up, and some more of the vintage book page flowers, and then a bit of lace trim down the bottom. And in this pocket you've got a couple of other kind of smaller items. Just check that I have got everything. So I've got here again a couple of my printables. I've got one of those cigarette cards, and this one which you know, I just find ever so useful to kind of use on things, so I thought I'd include those. And then here, this is a laminated piece, so it's got a flower that has been laminated in between you know, the laminated sheets, and I just have stamped the word cherish across, and obviously this frame kind of image. So I love how that looks, and just thought, you know, it went quite nicely with certainly the outside of this packaging. And then you've also got one of my altered paper clips with one of my cigarette cards and some vintage book page layered up, some net, and some beautiful velvet kind of fabric, a little flower and a little kind of faux de monte in there. And it's obviously, you know, just backed onto some card, and that's a paper clip. So I'll just clip that on there. And then going inside, you've got the following items. So there's a little kind of file folder that I've just kind of made here with just some decoupage napkin and some flowers that are fussy cut out and some lace trim. So that's that item. Here you've just got a little kind of folding flip kind of there. This is just some coffee dyed scrapbook paper and a stamped image here to act as the, what do you call it, the, you know, the thing to hold it closed. And then here you've got some lace trim across the top. So, I mean, what you could do if you wanted is obviously staple in some more pages here as a kind of little booklet or a pad or something like that inside. But that's that piece. Then here you've got two little corner tuck spots. So there's obviously a bottom corner and a top corner. This has got some stamped image here, a fussy cut flower or a couple of fussy cut flowers, some lace trim, a flower and a stamped image here. And then here you've got some lace trim, some vintage sheet music, a piece from a book there, and a stamped image here, and some faux de monte, and again some more fussy cut flowers. So, you know, they would obviously, the intention is to go in the corner of a junk journal page. So that one there, and that would obviously be a corner pocket there. And this one obviously would be a top loading pocket. So you'd just glue it down on two sides here into the corner and obviously tuck things up like that. So that's those two. Then here I've just got what I would use as a kind of tuck spot kind of down the page lengthways. So I would just glue it kind of here and here, and then obviously pop it down on the page. And then I have done this as a kind of folding kind of gizmo thing. So here you've just got a kind of folding flap, which then it's got a vintage book page image there, and it just tucks in behind that flower. And then you've just got some lace trim and some diamante there. Here you've got another little folding envelope, which again, I mean, you could just kind of paper clip this onto a page, and you've got obviously lots of journaling space inside there. And it's just literally tucked behind the decoupage napkin image there, and some fussy cut flowers, some lace trim across the top. And then here, this is one of my little fold out ideas. So this is just on some tea dyed paper. It's tied with string there. You've got a cigarette card there, layered up with a little butterfly and some lace trim down the side. And this tucks in obviously here into this flap. And then obviously you've got journaling space there. And then journaling space here when you kind of open it out, as well as here. So you would kind of ideally glue it onto a page here. I would probably glue it on three sides, you know, when I use these, because then you can use it as a kind of side pocket as well. And then obviously, you know, once it's glued onto the page, this is much easier to handle because it's not moving around. And then obviously that tucks in. And then, you know, if you didn't want the string, you could obviously pull the string off or cut it off, but you know, I think the string kind of adds a little something. So that's the first kit, and as I say, you know, that's kind of all in my Etsy shop, so I should just move that out of the way. And then kit number two, so you've got a little peg this time holding on this little kind of fabric bag, and inside the fabric bag you've just got a few little items. So you've got here one of my little button embellishments. You've got here a little fabric flower. I love this one, really cute. It's teeny weeny, and it's nice and kind of flat as well to use in journals. So it's a really nice one. And it's just layered up fabrics. One's been coffee dyed, the other has just been lightly distressed. And then it's just got a little gem in the middle. And then here you've got a chipboard tile, just again with some scrapbook paper, been distress inked up and just, you know, backed onto some chipboard. And then here you've just got a little bow in some, it's kind of like an iridescent brown coloured organza ribbon, so that's really nice. And then I've just again included some of my printables. Hopefully the colourway kind of tones nicely with you know, with this kit, just for some little items that you can use as journaling cards or to layer up kind of pieces in your own journal. So I just thought they were kind of nice to include. So that's all of your smaller items for this particular kit. And then you've got here an altered paper clip holding this book page pocket on. So this altered paper clip, now hooked onto the stitching, I'm afraid, so hold on. Oh, this was bound to happen, wasn't it? So, right. Not going to be able to get this off very easily on camera. This is why you just shouldn't do things on camera, isn't it? Right, okay. So I've got an altered paper clip here. This has got some book page, which has just been kind of stapled around with some lace trim here, a little stamped image and a flower. And I tried to do it Jessica Wrap style and kind of use just a staple to kind of hold everything. Now for me, this is moving around slightly much. I have already kind of glued it here because that was kind of moving about a bit. But I might just add a little dab of glue here to kind of hold this in place as well. I'm not that trustworthy of the, or trusting of the staple, so I might just kind of have to do that. But that's the paper clip. Then you've got a book page pocket with some doily and a bit of decoupage napkin there with a butterfly, and that just obviously has a little small pocket there and some lace trim across the top. And obviously you could glue this down onto a page kind of like that as a kind of side tuck, as well as kind of a little pocket here. And then the actual packaging itself has been made from just literally a card that's been coffee dyed. I've layered up various things on the front in a collage kind of style, with fabrics and laces and a flower and, you know, various things, some stamping. And then opening that up, I've just popped on a couple of book page pockets here, which I've just kind of glued on. Again, collaged up some various images and done some stamping. Just popped in another printable there, kind of tucks in there. So, I mean, this obviously gives you an idea of kind of how the printables that I've included, you could use them. And then some lace trim across the top of each pocket. And then this pocket contains the following items. So it's got here, this I would just use as a kind of pocket down the side of a page or kind of a belly band. So we've got stamped images and some fussy cut flowers, a little butterfly. He's been layered up onto some sewing pattern paper. He's got some diamante and some lace trim down the side and a flower here. And you could glue that either top and bottom as a kind of belly band that you could obviously slot things in there. Or you could obviously have it kind of glued on three sides as a pocket, you know, entirely up to you. I mean, you could even back it onto some plain coloured card and use it as a tag, really. Completely up to you. This exactly the same. So you've got these stamped images of these ducks. I will just point out they didn't stamp particularly well, so they're quite faded. For me, that doesn't really worry me. I can still see what they are, and I kind of think that adds to the charm, but I do want to point that out. You've got there some stamped corners, again the fussy cut flowers and this little kind of banner here, some lace trim. So exactly the same, you know, ways that you could use that. Here you've got a corner tuck spot. So again, just like with the first kit, you could obviously glue this on two sides and kind of use this as a corner pocket on a page. Another one of those butterflies with the sewing pattern paper that's been layered up there. And then here you've got a little fold out kind of booklet. This is one of my other kind of pocket ideas that I've done recently. So this has got a stamped image on the front, some stamping here, some coffee dyed distress ink, lace down the side and a little flower. And when you open it, you've just got another pocket in here. Again, some of my little printable cigarette cards there layered up. And then you've got obviously a couple more printables tucked into the pocket. And then you've got a pocket up here as well, which hasn't got anything in, but obviously you could, you know, you could pop something in there. I don't know if this is too wide, but, you know, that is too wide really, but, you know, you get the idea. So that's that. And again, I would just kind of glue this on, or when I use these, glue these on normally three sides. And so then you'd have kind of obviously your top loading pocket here, and then a side loading pocket there. And then the other side contains another couple of little pieces. So you've got here another one of those file folders which just literally folds out, and obviously it's just plain for journaling. You've got some lace trim across the top and a little butterfly stamped image. And then here, last one, is just a little kind of layered up piece, various elements, a little stamped piece there. and some flowers and things. And again, I would just use this probably as a little tuck spot, kind of gluing it on two sides and just pop it down on a page that I would then kind of tuck things in behind it. So that's kind of the two kits there. They're both, as I say, for sale and listed in my Etsy shop. So I hope that you like them. I'd love to hear your comments, and yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Hope that the video didn't waffle on for too long. Thanks very much, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thanks then, bye.